This is a Microsoft Surface Pro, first generation, and this is also how I fix my car's 4,000 RPM power loss. So if you have a BMW Z4 or a BMW 330 with a 3-liter engine, the E85 engine, by the way, and a manual transmission, you may also be experiencing this issue. Now, a lot of people have you to believe it's this, the intake manifold little flapper valve. And what's happening is this little valve right here, which is nice and taut on this one, this one's crap, by the way, is kind of loose and doesn't really open the way it's supposed to, and just kind of flaps around in there, and that's giving you a power loss. That may or may not be the culprit. This essentially creates the issue, but it's the car's ECU that prolongs that issue. So what happens? What am I talking about? Well, it's pretty simple. As the intake manifold ages, the intake manifold valve ages, this little valve starts to make a kind of a ticking noise or a clacking noise as it opens, and the engine picks that up as knock. Now, because BMWs are smart, they'll log this and they'll say, okay, at 4,000 RPM, there's a little bit of a knock, so we're gonna, retard the power, retard the timing, I should say, which does hurt your power output. Now you can go, perfect, I'll just buy a new valve, I'll pop it in there, not a problem at all. And normally you'd be right. But the issue is, since BMW records that, even if you put a new intake manifold valve in there, which you need anyway, the car is gonna say, guess what? 4,000 RPMs are coming, I better cut power again, just to save the engine from the knock, which is very helpful. Unfortunately, you don't have that problem anymore. The intake manifold now has a new valve which will operate smoothly and quietly, and you want your power at 4,000 RPM. So how do you fix this? Well, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is clear the knock adaptations. So the notepad that BMW is scribbling down 4,000 RPM knock, 4,000 RPM knock, 4,000 RPM knock. You just gotta take that notepad, throw it away, give them a new one. And you can do that with one of these. So this is on the back of it says a K+D CAN cable. Some people call it an INPA cable. There's a couple different names that this goes by, but you can buy these online fairly cheaply. In fact, I got this one from Amazon for about 20 bucks, and it comes with the software. And with that software, all you do is you hook one end, I'll show you, excuse me. All you do is you hook one end up to the OBD port, another end into your computer that you're going to use. Now, I use the Surface Pro. Obviously, you don't have to use one of those. You can use whatever laptop you have, or if you have a really long USB cable or an extension, you can probably just use your desktop computer. Either way, you want to somehow hook a computer up to your car. And once you get that done, you start the software. And the software is called INPA, or INPA, as a lot of people like to call it. And once you double click on the icon, you're going to be presented with a screen. Now, I will bring the camera over here so you can see what it looks like. And so this is what the screen looks like. Now, of course, when you have it hooked up to your car, this is going to say battery on, ignition on, and as long as it says ignition on and it recognizes that your car is running, you're connected and you're good to go. The hardest part of installing this software is just setting the COM port. And when you start the software, when you install the software, it's going to ask you which COM port do you want to use. I used 9 just because I knew that COM port was free. So install COM port 9, go into your device manager, tell it that this USB cable is going to be communicating through COM port 9. You'll have 0 issues. People complain about installing this on Windows 10. As long as your COM ports match, you're fine. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. There are a ton of videos on YouTube completely dedicated to walking you through installing this software, so go find one of those. That's not what this video is about. But once you get it installed, this will be your initial screen. Let's see, updates have been successfully applied. Wonderful. That's for Microsoft, don't worry about that. But anyway, here's the list. And so since I'm working with an E85 Z4, I will hit F7. And you get this screen, and it's going to ask you to make some selections. So do you want to work with the engine, the trans, the chassis, the body? What are we working with here? I want to work with the engine because we're going to clear the knock adaptations. So I click that, and then I click over to M54, give it a double click, and we get to this page. Now, this page is all in German. I don't speak German, so what I did is I got online and I looked for a translate. And what I found is that we go to F8 for, it says adaptions here, which I was pretty certain that's what it was, but just in case I Googled it. So we're gonna go to F8 for adaptations, excuse me. And then we have this screen. And once again, it's all in German. But what I do know is that F9 is all in bold, and it looks like in German it says all adaptations. So I Googled it just to be sure, and sure enough, that's what it is. So I hit F9, cleared all my adaptations. Now I got a warning because I'm actually not hooked up to the car right now, I'm in my kitchen. But I hit F9 and it takes literally a second, maybe 2 seconds at most, and everything's good to go. Now, I should caution you, some cars don't like all of their adaptations being cleared. The Z4 is my second car. If something messed up, not a problem. It'll just sit till I fix it. However, there was no problems. The engine was running as I did this. So I cleared it, everything was fine. And then once I unhooked it from the OBD and I took the car for a drive, I went probably about a 10-mile test drive. The 4,000 RPM hesitation was gone. The car had a nice smooth power band. The power that I was missing was there. And it cost me, well, it cost me a lot because I threw some parts at it trying to chase it down. However, had I not done that, it only would have cost me about 20 bucks for this cable and the software that comes with it. And again, you can get that on Amazon, you can get it on eBay. There's a bunch of different third-party sites you can go on to get it, but that's it. So if you have a M54 engine, that's the 3-liter inline 6 with a manual transmission, because for whatever reason, it's only the manuals that have this issue, so they say. This could be a fix for you. So for 20 bucks, why not give it a shot? So that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps out. And if you don't have one of these cars, maybe it was just entertaining. Maybe you'll learn something. Who knows? But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.